The superhero genre, while thriving in every sense over here in the Western world, has been on kind of the back burner in Japan. Anime and manga seem to rather take this superhero genre in more ominous and dramatic directions, give or take a certain bald man. Ones like World Trigger and Big Order are good examples of it. And while I like a good drama, nothing can replace the colorful ensemble type of heroism and action. And with the release of Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia, it seems that the American comic influence hasn't run out yet. Sporting a hefty cast of powered-up badasses, Hero Academia seeks to bring back the colorful fun of beating up baddies and saving the day. And with me to cover the full extent of the story's appeal is TheArtOfJman. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yo, it's Joseph, aka TheArtOfJman on YouTube.
And with this out of the way, let's get into the nit-grit of the plot. My Hero Academia is set in a world where superpowers known as quirks are fairly common. Generations back has started a chain reaction of superpowered citizens, and our protagonist Izuku Midoriya is into the 5th generation, where only a very small percentage of people do not have quirks. Izuku is a diehard fanatic of famous superheroes and longs to be as great as the top hero known as All Might.
There's only one tiny problem with that. Izuku doesn't have any sort of quirk. As such, his aim for fame is met with persistent bullying by Bokugo, or Kai-chan as Izuku calls him, although he still wishes to in some way be a hero without a quirk. Eventually, through a stroke of dumb luck, Izuku runs into All Might while being attacked by a villain. After All Might gives a solid thrashing to the villain, Izuku reveals his lack of quirk to All Might and asks if he can still be a hero.
And then, surprise! All Might shrinks into a skinny shrivel of a person. Turns out All Might has a time limit on how almighty he can be. Afterwards, he quite bluntly says that Izuku becoming a hero is unlikely and he should look for another profession, although in a sympathetic way. Izuku is dumbstruck about All Might admonishing him and he is sent into a spiral of deep thought.
After being shut down, Izuku comes across a scene of action where the monster that had attacked him has got Bokugo in his possession. Although All Might is at the scene, he's unable to transform due to his time limit being up. Other heroes are having trouble saving Bokugo as well. With no other option, Izuku leaps in to help, although without any real success. But his courage was enough for All Might to painfully retransform and take out the villain with one mighty gust of a punch.
Soon after, All Might finds Izuku and wants to reword what he said. Not only does All Might thank Izuku for his quirkless bravery that allowed All Might to pull his act together, but he also states that despite not having a quirk, Izuku acted as the best hero there. Even better, All Might has the answer to Izuku's quest to become a hero. Inherit All Might's very own quirk of One for All. This is the beginning of the journey to Izuku's superpowered adventures. It's pretty obvious that Hero Academia is the tried and true formula of the underdog, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. A setting this colorful and fun would have probably been weighed down if it were anything else. Izuku's mild and meek personality helps sell the idea that he's more concerned about helping people rather than looking cool, and in turn have the audience root for him. The contrasting character of Bakugo also helps to show the stereotype of the super strong upstart from an outside perspective. All Might's alternate form also allows him to be realistic when no one is watching and give him a real personality. But that super deep analysis stuff isn't really meant for this kind of thing, as Hero Academia is a stellar mix of action and comedy. There are a ton of goof moments for Izuku and others, and it really gets you in a good mood. It never gets too deep or introspective, so you don't have to worry about it getting existential on you. It's just plain fun to see everyone in action and seeing a ton of different superpowers in all of its Silver Age comic style of awesome. That being said, the anime itself is surprisingly slow-paced. Had this anime been a continuous one, it wouldn't have been that much of an issue, but being already 4 out of the 13 episodes that will air, Izuku has just barely showcased its power for the first time. Since this anime is ripe for renewal and continuation anyway, it's not much of a problem, but for how fun and colorful it gets later on, the start of it certainly takes its time. It's problematic that a quarter of the anime's runtime is up, while the true enjoyment of the manga has barely been scratched. And while there couldn't really have been a lot of tightening up to fix that, there were a couple moments watching that were a bit slow for no real reason other than to emphasize a dramatic moment. Had this been something like Gosick or Erase, then it wouldn't have been much of a problem, but Hero Academia is primed for superhero fun. That's not to say that there isn't action in it, as we get plenty of moments of All Might and the other heroes kicking ass and saving the day. It's enough action to get you pumped, but it does mellow out over a period of time.
I knew the pacing would be a huge point of contention for manga fans as soon as I finished the first episode and realised that Bones had only adapted the first half of chapter 1. That is incredibly ballsy considering that the manga is approaching 90 chapters and we all know that this isn't going to be an ongoing anime. I agree that the pacing is slow, but it didn't seem to bother me as much as I enjoyed the small bits of in-canon filler that Bones added. There are little moments, especially in episode 2, where the heroes receive extra scenes that add more suspense to the slime monster's attack. The struggle to save Bakugo feels more difficult, which ultimately makes Izuku's act of saving his douchebag classmate all the more impactful. I think that Bones made the right choice with pacing these early episodes in this way, as it allows the audience enough time to get behind Izuku as the main character before the huge ensemble of UA students and professional heroes are thrown into the mix. Having said all of this, we've both read the source material, so I wonder if anime-only viewers' opinions on the pacing differs.
Let's get to the thing that I'm pretty sure J-Man and I both agree on. This anime is beautiful! I may be a bit biased as I tout the Hero Academia manga as my favorite art style out of any manga, but it's hard to deny the fantastic design work of Kohei Horikoshi. His work, especially on Hero Academia, is such an interesting meld of common manga attributes and a cartoonish level of charm and originality. The anime takes that philosophy to full force in motion. Hero Academia is a hot pot of American comic book hero-esque design and palette choices. It's almost a complete 180 of the run-of-the-mill superpowered manga and anime you get now, as it contrasts the usual dark patterns and crude styles of those with its own extremely vibrant range of colors and more innocent style of art. Even the anime takes this to heart in its own design, as All Might is covered in the classic black ink shading, and the line work is purposefully scratchy to give that comic book smell. It also helps that the animation is great where it needs to be. Action sequences are beautifully shot and there's a good sense of motion, which gets you pumped to see some bashing of the evil heads. I haven't heard enough of the soundtrack on its own to get a good enough listening to judge, but at least the opening and ending songs are pretty good.
OMG, this anime is colourful and I love it, especially because Bones uses colour as a device. Notice Izuku watching All Might, saving people in a brightly lit monitor in a drab room, wishing he could be a hero. Izuku retrieving his otaku knowledge book in a dark area of the school. My Hero Academia, being so vibrant, draws attention to the darker scenes, and in episode 1 this technique is used to help emphasize how weak and quirkless Izuku is. Bones is doing a great job in the animation department. All Might moves exactly as I imagined he would from reading the manga. Seeing the Detroit Smash animated for the first time being one of the highlights. The areas where 3D is present flow seamlessly into the 2D, so you aren't thrown out of the experience. Design-wise, I have no complaints. Bones has given Horikoshi's designs justice by keeping intact the diversity in the manga, where none of the cast of the characters look similar. It's a treat when a new hero is introduced, as they are all greeted with a flashy comic book still. The soundtrack is satisfactory so far, and for what I believe to be the main theme, the track that plays during the PV, seems to be catchy enough. The ending is pretty mediocre. I would have preferred some stills of the other characters instead of the predominant duration of Izuku running. The opening is a pretty flashy spectacle with a catchy song that has grown on me over the past month. The symbolism with Izuku's notebooks and the flashing between All Might and Izuku's fist are a nice touch.
It's safe to say that this anime is certainly promising. Although the pace of it has something left to be desired, it's clear that it has full intentions of adapting the manga in the most respectful way. With its beautiful design, great and funny characters, and overall action-packed fun, My Hero Academia is an anime worth watching and keeping an eye on. Any closing thoughts for you, J-Man?
When I first read My Hero Academia, I knew it was going to be something special, and that it had the potential to be the next big hit outside Japan to Western audiences. Kohei Horikoshi's manga is crushing it in the Shonen Jump at the moment, so my hope is that Bones will continue to do a great job with the anime, so that when Funimation slaps a dub onto this, a whole new generation of anime fans will be born, just like I was with the Naruto and One Piece dubs. My Hero Academia is definitely the future of Shonen Jump.
So with that said, thank you all for watching, and if you want to see J-Man stuff, click right here. Or if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Same hero time, same hero channel! Well, not same time. I don't really have a schedule for the... Forget it.